So I'm going to go back to probably one of the best-known Limberts in Agassiz, and that would have been my Auntie Jean Limbert. She was a school teacher, and she taught for years in Agassiz and then Harrison Hot Springs, and she was the original preschool after-school daycare because she would open the school at 7:30 and leave at 5. And the kids all loved her, and they all came early, and they all stayed late. And she taught grade 1 and 2 to so many of the people who have grown up in Agassiz-Harrison, and they will still fondly remember Jean Limbert. She retired in 1978, after about 35 years of teaching, and unfortunately, she passed away in 1979. My Aunt Fern, the second daughter, was also a school teacher, and she taught in Agassiz School District. And in 1953, she became a Franciscan Sister of the Atonement, Catholic religious order of sisters. And throughout her career as a sister, she spent 21 years in Japan teaching English as a second language in her convent. And she came back, and she just passed away in 2012, and she was 93 years old. Uncle Phil was 97 when he passed this year. My mother grew up in Agassiz, stayed in Agassiz, and she met and married my father, who was related to the Tuyttenses. And in 1942, my father bought the Tuyttens farm at the end of Tuyttens Road with a Tuytens homestead, and he married my mother in 1943. And Harry and Leonne Bouchard had 6 children, the oldest being Lynn, then Joanne, then me, Leonne, then Lily and Claude, and the youngest is Marion. And of those 6 children, we all went to school in Agassiz, and we were here in the 48 flood. I was just 3 months old in the 48 flood, and my father walked all of his cattle over to Limbert Mountain Farm, along with other farmers who moved their cattle up there, and they were there for the 6 weeks during the 48 flood. Then he came back down, and he, at that point, became involved in the community council work. He was instrumental in getting the dike put in Agassiz. He was instrumental in getting the new Agassiz Elementary Secondary School built. He was on the school board. And he was also instrumental in getting the new St. Anthony's Catholic Church built. And it opened in 1954. So he was very busy after the 48 flood. Mm-hmm. And he was ran most of the council. They used to have an annual stewardship meeting, and he used to chair the meetings because he knew Robert's Rules of Orders from when he went to school. But he was very involved in the community, and with 6 of us, my mother was also very involved, and both very involved in the Catholic Church. And as we were growing up, we were involved with dancing. Our Aunt Jean took us to Abbotsford to dance, and we did Highland dancing. And we joined the pipe band, and 3 of us played in the Kent Legion pipe band, and we had a lot of fun with that. And my mother was involved with getting the pipe band organized because she did Highland dancing when she was a kid. The person we learned from was my mom's aunt, and so she taught us. So Highland dancing, although we're French, has been in our family. And we loved the pipe band, too. A lot of the kids in Agassiz played in the Kent Legion pipe band. So that's another whole story when we did that as kids.
Leonne, when you mentioned the Catholic Church, has the Catholic Church been at that Morrow Road location all this time?
Ever since it was built in 1913, it was opened in 1913 and consecrated then. Mm-hmm. Before that, they went to Seabird Island with the Oblate Church.
Oh, yes, okay.
So that became the church when they built it. When there were enough Catholics in the area, because Agassiz was an English Protestant town, so there wasn't the same number of French as there were English. And interesting, when the French, and I got this from Ted Westlin, who is my mother's cousin, when the French settlers came, they had to buy their property. When the English settlers came, they were given the property as settlers from England. So there were 2 separate communities that got along well, but they had 2 separate cultures and 2 separate ways of doing things.